Hello everyone and welcome to another car profile, otherwise known as the BoP test of course, and as you can see it's the Toyota GR Supra racing concept, so the Toyota Supra in its new form. I prefer the old form personally, but the new form all the same. This is an FR car, so front engined, rear wheel drive and turbocharged as well. It's quite a small car, you know, in its shape and in its looks, so it's quite agile with a short wheelbase, and yeah, it's a fairly decent car to drive. We'll do the 4 normal tests that we normally do: Brands Hatch, Dragon Trail, Interlagos and Suzuka. All have different strengths and weaknesses to try and bring the car out and see where it comes overall in this Group 3 category. Obviously Brands Hatch, the first track we're about to go to, is a very high speed flowing track, so it requires handling at the back section. And obviously we'll see stability here with certain corners, Graham Hill Bend for example. We'll go through Paddock's Hill Bend, absolutely no issues at all as we head towards Druids. And again through here, no problemo at all. Accelerate out that corner. Now you will see me short shifting a lot in this Toyota Supra, mainly because of the horsepower, the power curve and the torque curve. Essentially you will shift at around 3/4 on that bar, and that's the best place to shift in this car. So you've seen our first 2 sectors there, 69 sector 1, that's about right to be honest. We've had some fairly decent laps, to be fair. It's quite a nice easy car to control. A little bit of understeering there, which is expected with a front engine rear wheel drive car. And then it doesn't have a huge amount of power oversteer. There's a little bit there, but not a huge amount. Going through here, again, no real issues. You see the car wiggling a bit, but that's obviously me pushing the car a little bit there because I've got so used to it. You can see I've got quite a few times. Anyone being very eagle-eyed can see lap 3 and 4 was identical times. We've had a few of them on different cars as we head towards the end of Brands Hatch. Through here we go. Again, no real issues. Car dancing a little bit. It's kind of nice dancing. It's not like a, oh no, it's going to spin kind of dancing. So all very well and good. Our optimum stays at a 1:22.0, which is exactly what we're looking for. Optimum time is not necessarily the fastest time. So next up is Dragon Trail. Now in terms of speed, it's not slow, but it's not quick either. So it's sort of in the middle in terms of where it is in speed. So I wasn't sure what to expect here at Dragon Trail. But we continue on all the same towards this first corner. Of course, we're testing the curbs here. Stability as well at the end of sector 2. It's a very fast circuit, so this really does test out speed. You just see a little bit of oversteer there, so just a little bit of weight transfer. The car does suffer with that a little bit, with weight transfer issues. Nothing major, very controllable. But obviously that's expected on that first corner of the chicane because it's literally straight over a crest while we've done a left and right. Continue on out of that corner, we get a 32.6. Very, very decent first sector. You can't really expect much more than that as we come into here. 115 apex speed, so not the quickest, and I really did notice the understeer here in particular. Obviously the faster you go, the more understeer you get in this car. It's not pure aero, but it was controllable again, but I wasn't expecting it to be the quickest in this sector after experiencing that very early on in the laps. Going into here, staying 3rd gear. Obviously we're testing stability at this part of the corner because this is where the rear can come out very easily. I have to use all the track there just to stop the rear coming out. We get a 30.6 set to 2. I think it does go into the 0.5s, in fact it must do because we're 1,000 up. But through the chicane, I found that staying in 5th actually helped more than going to 6th. 6th generated a bit more understeer, so staying in 5th helped us get that little bit more turning, and through the chicane we went as we head towards the last corner. And into here we go. Again, we're going to experience a little bit of stability, so we just want to, stability issues, we just want to straighten the car up a little bit as we did there, and then it becomes absolutely fine. As I say, the rear does step out occasionally, but it's very controllable car this. And our optimum goes down to a 136.578, so not bad at all. Again, as you can see, we're getting best sectors all over the place. That's why we go for optimums, because actually we can see where the car's strong and where the car's weak. So Interlagos, here we're obviously going to test curbs again and undulations mainly. Now obviously it's a mixture of handling and speed as well, so we get to see all sorts. First sector a little bit of speed, last sector a little bit of speed, middle sector pure handling. So, you know, mixture of all sorts. I was struggling as well at Interlagos with this car. It felt like it was just a little bit lost here. It didn't have any big strengths anywhere, unlike other cars we've seen recently. Through there we go, so we get a 23.1 first sector. We have had a 22.9, in fact that's the lap in front of us at the moment with the Ghost. But I did a few more laps here because I saw a lot of time in this middle sector, and this is where we're going to gain it back. So on the previous lap, I was like, wow, I lost a lot of time in that sector, so there is time there. So I did another lap, and we're going to pick that time up. There's absolutely no issues in the middle sector. A little bit on this corner occasionally if you went really aggressive on the exit, but it's expected, second, third gear sort of thing. It doesn't suffer as much as other cars in that sort of area, but there is a little bit of power oversteer there. Through here, I did really struggle. So, as I say, it does have a little bit of issues with weight transfer, but it's controllable, as you saw. Half throttle stopped all that happening. And then leaving this corner, again, just got to be very careful with bumps and stuff. A little bit of weight transfer, very controllable though, unlike other cars. So as long as you control it, it's absolutely fine. And as you saw on that long left-hander, there's a bump in there, which does cause a lot of oversteer. You've got to be careful of understeer as well in this car, so it's a mixture of both of those, which is why I had to let off quite a lot. But you can see there we get a 44.7 sector 2, and our overall optimum is a 130.6. Curbs, again, there's only real issues when there's a big shift in weight, and that's all it is really. Otherwise you can use curbs to your heart's content really. So Suzuka, a very balanced circuit. Obviously sector 1 is all about handling. We've got sector 3, which is more about speed than handling. So we'll see how it does. Now you can see a little bit of the car into this first turn where the rear is coming out a little bit, so brakes are slightly to the rear. Again, it's weight transfer issue, so the car likes to move itself, but we use fourth gear here for the majority of this. Again, because we're short shifting in this car, it allows us to manipulate the gears a little bit. It gives us a little bit extra to play with if we need to. We don't have to change gear again and cause any other weight transfer issues. Through this left-hander we go. Didn't really suffer a huge amount of understeer on that particular corner. Again, I suppose it's because it's a little bit slower compared to the Dragon Trail corners, but even so we continue on towards Degner 1. We cut that quite a lot actually, going into Degner 2 now. Through there we go, and I found it in between gears here really for those two. As you saw, we ran very wide there at Degner 2. Again, it was a little bit lost compared to other cars, but it didn't get lost at the hairpin. The hairpin, it was brilliant. So out of here, just accelerate out, quick short shift, and then accelerate through that and continue on out the corner. Hairpin, absolutely no issues as we continue on towards Spoon now. And as you can see by my laps on the right hand side, all 59s, and then lap 6 had a bit of an issue. And then we're on a good lap again. So, you know, it is a fairly stable and accurate car. In terms of understeer on Spoon, no real issues with understeer. We'll continue out that corner, no problem. Got to just watch the rear slightly as you exit with power oversteer potential, but none really there as we head towards our speed trap. Our speed trap is going to be a 156 miles an hour. There we go, through there we go, 147 apex speed, not too bad, 46.5 sector 3, so it does struggle a little bit, as I say. It is a little bit lost occasionally in there, in terms of speed, etc., but even so, it's not too bad, and we're actually going to head towards the line, and our optimum is going to be a 158.6 at Suzuka, overall in the end, which again, interesting. We get it in a mixture of places, but let's see where it's come overall in the rankings. And as you can see, the Supra has come in 7th position, so fairly high up. I did expect it to do quite well. I was expecting it to be around this sort of area because I've driven it before. I drove it at Yamagiwa. In fact, I think I might have shown you the race on the channel. Not too sure. But I knew it was a good car, but I wasn't sure exactly where it would come. But this is where I expected. I knew it wasn't the fastest overall, but it was up there. But even so, you can see it's coming 7th place. So, you know, Brands Hatch, it was good. Brands Hatch is obviously the most even track, so it's a very close in there, and it's done fairly well. Dragon Trail, again, it was good there. It has a little bit more power than the Beetle, and very similar in sort of its driving style, so I expected that to be a little bit quicker there. Interlagos, again, it had a really good sector 2, and I suppose it got a bit lucky in the fact that I suddenly saw that time. Obviously, sometimes we can get lucky laps and non-lucky laps, depending on the car and the track, etc., which occasionally will cause issues with the BoP test, but overall, it's across 4 tracks. I'm hoping this minimises that impact. And then obviously Suzuka, it was just lost. It was lost at both these tracks a little bit. It felt like it had no real strengths or weaknesses there, especially in the middle sector. It was just sort of like, it felt like it could do the job, but not like overly strong, unlike other cars. So, for example, the Volkswagen GTI was incredibly fast, so it felt like it had a lot of strengths. Same with the RCZ actually at Interlagos, except it wasn't the speed, it was the handling, even though it came all the way down here somewhere, wherever it's gone. There you go, down here. Even so, it felt it had more strengths there. This car, it was sort of just like, you know, it can do the job basically. And that's what I felt throughout that test, really. So it's very similar to the Corvette C7. I suppose it is similar in that sense, you know, front engine, rear wheel drive. Yeah, you don't have to rev to the limit, so you got a choice of gears and things like that. It's very similar. So in terms of risk indicators, giving it a 2. Now you're probably wondering why, if it's got a little bit of understeer and a little bit of oversteer. It is so controllable, it's ridiculous, and I've put that in the comments. So it's a stable car, has a bit of understeer, has slight power oversteer, but it's all so controllable. It's a nice car to drive. If you want to learn how to control oversteer in this game, it's probably a car you should pick, because as I say, a mixture of both of those is suddenly going to learn how to drive the car better. Curbs don't have any issues on the car, and you can short shift this car at about 3/4. So again, as I've said, it gives you a bit of a choice with gears. Suzuka S's, said it in the last car profile. You can stay in one gear and maybe out rev it a little bit. You might not get the best power out of it or best speed out of it, but it's not causing weight issues, because when you change gear, it causes weight transfer issues. You know, there's a delay between 4th and 5th. That's a weight transfer, causes issues. But you shift it at 3/4, and that's how you get the quickest speed out of it. So that's the Toyota Supra racing concept. As I say, interesting car. I think it needs to be a little bit more exciting personally, but it's certainly a good car all the same, coming in 7th position. So if we go down this list now, we've only got one car left to do, which is going to be tomorrow's. We'll do that. And as I've said in the previous video, I'm then going to change my wheels over, because I've got another wheel. I will then build my speed up back to where it is now. Should be very quick, because I've used the wheel before. And then we will do the retests of these. I'm also going to retest the Aston, because it was a very early car. I just want to make sure that it should be down there. But it does have a risk indicator of 8, so potentially it should be. We'll retest all the cars that have had their BoP changed. Once we're up to speed and back to normal, and then we will do fuel and tyre wear. So do keep an eye out for that. I hope you enjoyed this video. My logo's there if you want to subscribe. There's a video playlist there of all these car profiles that we've done. But that's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. I will see you in the next video.